The ripple effect didn't stop with me because it's about something even bigger. Because as I invested in myself, everything else expanded around me. Welcome to the Redefining Midlife podcast. I'm Jo Clark and I'm so glad you're here. And this is a podcast for women who are ready to break free from outdated stereotypes, rediscover themselves, and embrace the endless opportunities that midlife brings. Each week, I'll share expert advice, actionable strategies, and inspiring conversations with incredible women who are redefining what it means to thrive in midlife and beyond. From health and wellness to reigniting your purpose and passions, this is your go-to podcast for feeling empowered, supported, and seen. And midlife isn't the end. It's your time to shine, rewrite your story, and create a life that you truly love. So let's get started. Hello and welcome back to Redefining Midlife. And before we dive in, I want to start by saying a very big heartfelt thank you. I know there are lots of podcasts out there, and it truly does mean the world to me that you're choosing to spend part of your day here with me. I appreciate you so much for tuning in. And for those of you who have taken the time to leave a rating or a review or to share this podcast with a friend, thank you. Your support helps more women in the middle of life to find this space and hear conversations that relate to our lives. Now, as always, when I do a solo episode, I really recommend that you have a pen and a paper handy because today's episode is a little more personal. It's not just about what I believe in, it's also something that I've lived and will continue to nurture until my dying days. And we're diving into the idea that investing in yourself is actually the best decision that you'll ever make. And let me explain a little bit more. I really do mean it. And it's not just financially either. And it's not just about for personal growth, but it's for your well-being, for your confidence and for your relationships, your sense of self, and your ability to live this next half of life on your own terms. Because here's what I know. When we reach midlife, so many of us feel this internal shift. It's hard to actually put into words what it is, but you know what I'm talking about. And for some, it might be just that quiet little nudge. For others, it's more like a loud knock. It's a deep knowing that something needs to change. And for whatever it is for you, it often comes from many years of giving to everybody else, and then just that dawning realization that somewhere along that way, we've stopped giving to ourselves. And when that moment comes, it's pretty easy to brush aside, to say, I'm going to look into that later. And when things settle down, I'll do something then. Maybe I'll do it when the kids are older. Or when work comes down, when I've got more time, when I feel ready. I mean, there are so many excuses and reasons that we can say to ourselves. But let me ask you this. What if later never feels easier? And what if now is all we have? The truth is, I wouldn't be here talking to you on this podcast, mentoring incredible women, running workshops or speaking on stages, if I hadn't made the decision a few years ago to back myself. And not just once, but I'm telling you, it was time and time again through many seasons of doubt, uncertainty, and growth. So today, I just want to take you behind the scenes, and I'm going to be sharing with you what investing in myself has looked like and how it's changed me from the inside out, and then why it's one of the most powerful gifts that you can give yourself, especially in this time of life. Now, the month of July marks a 5-year anniversary of what I call my great midlife unravelling. And that's a term that the amazing Brené Brown coined. Now, for those of you who are new to the podcast, 5 or 6 years ago was when a number of major life transitions occurred all at once. I was experiencing grief, loss, relentless peri symptoms, and a career crossroads that were just some of them. And 5 years ago, I also stepped away from a long, deeply rooted career in education and leadership. Because for so long, my identity had been wrapped up in that role, my responsibilities, people I cared for and supported. And that chapter was beautiful and meaningful, but when I left it, I felt really, I would say maybe a word to describe it was unanchored. I was lost, if I'm going to be completely honest. But I knew that I had more to give. I could actually feel it. but I didn't know what that more looked like or who I was without that job title and the structure that had defined my days for decades. To be completely open and honest with you, it felt really hard and uncomfortable. It was confronting and it was humbling. It felt really scary, but it was also the beginning of something that was very special and life-changing. So what I did is I started with some small steps, and I'll share a few with you. Before I even left my career, I invested time and money in a Vedic meditation course, which to this day is still one of the most grounding and profound things that I've ever done for myself. It taught me how to be still, to listen to what I truly needed and wanted. It allowed me just to breathe. It created the space and the clarity that I didn't even realize that I needed. And it helped me to work out what my next couple of steps was going to be, like how was I going to invest in myself. And from there, I began to explore new ideas and new ways of thinking. I said yes to books and to courses on neuropsychology, business, and personal development. I worked with experts who stretched me. I joined a high-level mastermind that, if I'm completely honest, felt terrifying at first. And I remember thinking, who in God's name am I to be? Am I meant to be in a space like this? But I also knew that I didn't want to stay where I was. And so I showed up, nervously at first, and then I began to get more confident. The coaching and the mentoring that I received in that mastermind was an absolute catalyst for me. And not because it gave me all the answers, but because my mentor asked better questions of me. It also connected me with other women who were dreaming big, doing brave things, and challenging each other to rise. Not in any sort of competition, but it was more like in a community. And slowly but surely, I began to see myself differently. I stopped listening to the voice in my head, minimizing what I was capable of. And even though I had no idea whether I would fail or succeed, I started making decisions from a place of vision instead of fear. And once again, I'm going to be completely honest and tell you without any hesitation whatsoever that not everything worked well for me. Not everything I did was a success. In fact, some of the things that I tried didn't work out at all. They weren't successful. But I'll also tell you that I learned much more from trying and failing, especially when I had support and guidance from my coach and mentor. And little by little, I began doing things that I never in a million years imagined I'd have the courage to do. Take, for example, this podcast, Redefining Midlife. That was born almost 3 years ago from making a decision. And 3 years on, I have reached thousands of people from all over the world to become one of the top 5% podcasts globally. That's pretty incredible when you think about it, from zero to then having this sort of success. And then there's my mentoring, my workshops, my speaking gigs, my community that I've nurtured, my sense of purpose. And here's the part that still gives me goosebumps. The ripple effect didn't stop with me because it's about something even bigger. Because as I invested in myself, everything else expanded around me. My relationships deepened. I made beautiful new friendships with so many different women from all around Australia and overseas. I started having conversations and experiences that a few years earlier I did not even know were available to me. And that's what I want for you too. So let's just talk about what investing in yourself actually means. Because it's not just about money. It's also about time, it's about energy, and it's about commitment. It's a decision to stop waiting for everything around you to change and to start creating the change from within. It's choosing to stop running on autopilot and instead begin living your life with intention. Because life, as you know, is far from over. We're only at the halfway mark. It's recognizing that, yes, you can do hard things, but you don't have to do them alone. It's about seeking out people who can help guide you, and not because you're broken, but because they can see what you can't see in yourself just yet. And here's something I've seen time and time again, and not just in my own life, but I'm talking about the women that I mentor. Now, we don't hesitate to invest time and pour money into our children, into our work, or even on our appearance. We buy ourselves new clothes, we get our hair done, we attend social events, we purchase makeup or new shoes. We value being seen and we value being looking the part. But when it comes to investing in our inner world, in our growth, in our healing, in our dreams, there's that hesitation that happens. We tell ourselves it can wait or it's not important. But our personal growth isn't a luxury. It's a foundation that shapes how we show up in every other area of our life and what that's going to look going forward. And another thing, when we only rely on the free stuff, the podcasts, and I'll include mine in that as well, YouTube videos, Googling for answers, social media posts that you might save, downloadable PDFs, we rarely create that deep, sustainable change, the change that really makes a difference. And I get it because we know that information is everywhere. It's not because of a lack of it. Those free resources, they are amazing. They're generous, they're helpful. They give you some of the information that might take you to the next step. And I'm really grateful they exist because they help me a lot. And I know that I've even created some of that information myself to help other women. So I understand it. It's everywhere. It's in abundance. But that's not going to make the daily choices for you or do the work for you. That, my friend, is entirely up to you. And what I've personally learned and what I've learned from so many women is this. When we don't pay for something, we don't pay attention. It's so easy to push things aside, to save it for later. But when there's no skin in the game, and I mean no real commitment, no accountability, it's really easy to stay stuck. But when we invest, when we put real time, real energy, and some money or heart into something, we value it and we protect it. We show up differently. We become the kind of women who keeps promises to herself. And that is a very powerful shift. So we're going to do something together, and I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to answer it. And when you answer, I want you to sit with it and notice a couple of things. Firstly, notice the exact words that you say to yourself when you answer this question. And then secondly, notice how you feel. What is the body telling you? The immediate reaction when you hear this question. Does it make you recoil? Does it make you think more deeply? Does it put you on edge? Does it make you feel more expansive? What is it for you? You may even want to write this question down and journal for a deeper answer. So are you ready for the question? It is, when it comes to investing time in money in yourself, what do you think you're worth? And I'm not talking about what your job title says, not what your family roles reflect, not what society has told you about midlife or aging or shrinking to fit. Are you worth the time, the energy, the support, the financial investment, the possibility of more? I believe you are. But do you believe that you are? So here's a question again. When it comes to investing time and money in yourself, what do you think you're worth? Now, here's what I know and what I see. When we begin to invest in ourselves, we start to rewrite the story. We actually reclaim our own power. We get curious again. We start to dream. And you gain tools that help you navigate that change and rediscover the parts of yourself that got buried under years of responsibility and expectations. You stop second-guessing yourself and you start trusting your intuition again. You become more grounded, more confident, and more joyful. And what's more, when you invest in yourself, it inspires those around you to do the same. Your growth gives others permission to grow. Your courage invites others to be courageous. So if you've been wondering whether now is the time, let me very lovingly and caringly say this: yes, it is. And not because it's easy, but because you matter. And it doesn't have to be big. Maybe it's something as simple as joining a program. Maybe it's booking a connection call. Maybe it's finally saying yes to some support instead of trying to do everything on your own. Or maybe it's simply sitting down with a journal today and asking that question. Or another question, like, what do I want the next chapter of my life to feel like? Whatever it might be, let it be for you, because you deserve that. The woman I am today is not the woman that I was 5 years ago. And I'll talk in the third person. She's stronger, she's more grounded, more open-hearted, more sure of herself, and she's still growing. I've got no idea what the next 5 years are going to look like. So if no one has told you this lately, here's your permission slip. You get to choose yourself, and you don't need to wait for a crisis or a breakdown or some magical sign to begin. Just start now. Start small. And for heaven's sakes, just start. And if you're after some support as you explore what's next for you, I'd love to chat. You can book a free 20-minute connection call and use a link in the show notes. It's a really relaxed space to explore where you're at, where you might want to go next, and the ways I can help. There's no pressure, just support. And if you can't find the link, just head to my website, www.joeclarkcoaching.com. Now, until next time, be kind to yourself, be proud of how far you've already come, and remember, midlife is not the end of our story. It is just the beginning of an exciting new part. Thanks so much for spending your time with me today. I hope you feel inspired to make the next chapter of your life the best one yet. Now remember to share this episode with someone else who would love it, and connect with me on Instagram or LinkedIn at Jo Clark Coaching. All the links and the details from today's episode are in the show notes or at joeclarkcoaching.com. And if you enjoyed this episode, please follow or subscribe the show on your favorite podcast app and leave a 5-star rating and review. This helps more midlife women find these empowering conversations. I can't wait to chat with you next week. Until then, take care and keep creating a life that you love.